Okay. What is going on, guys? Welcome to Stock Talk with Nico Criticos. Today, we're going to be breaking down all of the ways that Amazon makes money. And it's a lot because over the last few decades, this company has acquired a lot of different brands and they make money in a lot of different ways. So, last year, this company did over $700 billion of net sales. It's hard to even comprehend how big of a number that is, but about 40% of that came from online stores, and this is what most people know Amazon for, traditional retail that sells directly to consumers. Approximately $269 billion of sales for last year. Amazon buys inventory at wholesale prices and sells it at a markup. While this is the largest revenue source, it actually has the thinnest profit margins due to high shipping and fulfillment costs. Not surprising, especially with all the returns and things that they offer. I could see why. Number two, third-party seller services. This is 24% of revenue. Amazon acts as a marketplace for millions of independent businesses. Over 60% of all units sold on Amazon now come from a third-party seller, including my brand, American Tallow. Amazon takes a percentage of every sale as a referral fee and charges for FBA. Yes, they do. And the fees are oftentimes not cheap, where Amazon handles storage, packing, and shipping for these sellers. But even though they take some big fees, they make it very convenient. They help scale your business and they help get you in front of millions of people that you wouldn't otherwise be able to hit. Next up, Amazon Web Services. This is one that a lot of people pay attention to for good reason. This only accounts for about 17% of revenue right now, and this is their primary profit engine. Typically, it generates over 50 to 60% of total operating income, which is just incredible. So that means it's doing three times, it's only 18% of revenue, but it's doing up to 60% of total operating income. That's just incredible. Last year, it was $128 billion and it was growing at over 20% per year. It provides on demand cloud computing platforms, servers, storage, and AI tools to governments, companies, and individuals. Its operating margins remain high at approximately 35%, which is just incredible. Especially compare that to what we just said about their retail business. They're oftentimes breaking even or having a very thin margin. Then we have advertising, which accounts for 9 to 10% of revenue. This has emerged as Amazon's fastest growing high margin business. So, this one and AWS are really the interesting ones to me. Last year, they did over $68 billion of revenue. And the way it works is that sellers and brands pay to have their products appear at the top of search results, including, my company, American Tallow. We also pay Amazon to do this for our company, or they pay in video ads on Prime Video and Freevee. Analysts project this segment could reach $94 billion just by the end of this year. Next up, we have subscription services, which accounts for about 7% of revenue. This primarily consists of Amazon Prime fees, but also includes digital video, music, and audiobook. Amazon Prime has over 250 global subscribers, which is just incredible, with 180 million in the US alone. Last year, they did 45 billion or so in sales. Then we get to number six. Now we're starting to get down to really small numbers. Physical stores like Whole Foods, Amazon Fresh, Amazon Go, which I think they had an Amazon Fresh store, Amazon Go over here in like a Chicago suburb, and I believe it wasn't open very long. I'm pretty sure it closed. So I've never been to one of those, but I remember when they came out with the concept of pretty much not having to pay or not even to go through checkout lanes. You just walk out and it scans it automatically or something. It's a cool idea. It says it serves as a critical bridge for Amazon's grocery and quick commerce delivery ambitions. Great. So now we're going to break down the revenue contribution to their total revenue as well as the profit contribution. So, like we said before, retail, online, and physical is about 45%. That's where most of their sales comes from, but they're not really making much profit from it. It's really just to keep you in the loop, keep you subscribing to Prime, stuff like that. But AWS is where 57% of total profit comes from, which is insane again because it's only 18% of sales. Advertising, only 10% of sales, but still the profit is much higher. And then third party services is somewhere in the middle, 24% moderate. Now, I wanted to come down here and see what are all the companies they own because during my time in the market the last 10 years or so, I've seen them buy what did they buy? MGM, I know they bought Whole Foods, I know they bought all these different companies, right? So Amazon acquired Whole Foods in 2017 for $13.7 billion dollars. I would love to know what its valuation is today just for Whole Foods. It is Amazon's largest physical retail presence with over 500 locations. Zappos, shoe and apparel retailer in 2009, right? And you can go on and on. Look at all these different companies they own. I remember MGM. I vividly remember that one, 2021. They have Twitch. They have Audible. I didn't know they have IMDb. That one I didn't know. Some of these other ones I haven't heard of. One Medical, I think I've heard of that one before. They just own, I mean, just in the last couple of years, I've seen them get into healthcare and pharmacy stuff, which it's like, what industry are they not in? I think one time they tried coming out with a cell phone. I don't think that worked out. But other than that, every other business imaginable, they're pretty much in. iRobot, I remember that one because I used to own iRobot stock. These companies often provide the backbone for Amazon's operations. AWS, the world's leading cloud computing provider. Then you have all these other ones. I also remember when they bought or they partnered with Rivian. That's another one. Then I put in 2030, where do you see the revenue categories breaking down? So retail is expected to go to from 44% to 32 or 35%, right? And what do we have here? Mature market focus shifts from growth to, yeah, right. Okay. AWS, 18 to 25 to 28%. That one is an interesting one to keep an eye on. AI infrastructure expansion, of course, revenue projected to scale towards $600 billion by 2036. Insane. Third-party seller services, roughly the same, remain stable as more independent sellers join the global marketplace. Yeah, I guess. I guess that makes sense. I would think. I mean, there's already so many businesses on there, though. I guess that is it's getting pretty mature. Advertising, 10% now, 10% now, up to 15, 18% a couple years, expected to double to over 140 billion in the next 4 years. Insane. Subscriptions like Prime, roughly the same. Growth slows as US market reaches 78% saturation. Yeah. So let's go down here a little bit more. Advertising expected to be Amazon's fastest growing segment, with revenue projected to rise from 68 billion last year to 142 in 2030. So, and again, it's like this is why there's so many reasons to be bullish on the stock right now, which we're going to get into. But AWS is the load bearing column. Amazon is expected to deploy nearly 1.4 trillion in capex in the next 5 years, which is why the stock is getting beaten down so bad this year. And that's honestly a scary number for them to be spending that much. But it's still, we're still talking about Amazon here, one of the most powerful companies of the last few decades. So with roughly 70% of that dedicated specifically to AWS and AI infrastructure, AWS revenue alone could rival the size. That's crazy, the entire 24 retail business. But again, I am still bullish, even though they're spending that much. I think they can cut back on that if they need to or if they want to. And when they do, they still have cash flows coming from all these other business segments. So it's not the end of the world. By 2030, services will likely account for nearly 70%. That's crazy. That's including AWS. Direct retail sales will likely decrease as a percentage. Okay, that makes sense through its third-party marketplace. But again, so here's the stock. I have 25 shares at 211. The stock has basically done nothing for the last year, and I understand the cash flows are not going to look great. We come over here, free cash flow has done terrible the last 2 years, right? It's gone from 48 billion in 2024 to now only 7 billion. But EPS and net income are up, right? So on paper, the non-cash things are making the numbers look great. They're doing 77 billion in net income. That's insane. I mean, all other metrics are solid. It's just that free cash flow is down. So this is why I'm bullish. This is why I think this is a great pick right now. Let me know what you guys think down below. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.